Morning, Val. Carol Hines Williams, good morning. Kawana Bigelow, good morning. What up, Tara? Good morning. Larissa, good morning. Minister Sanders, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in the building. Good morning, Brother Boss. Sable, good morning. I know I'm a few minutes late this morning, but come on in the building. Anthea, good morning. Sohana, good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Tawanda Brown, good morning to you. My beautiful Destiny 18, good morning to you. Greg, what's up, Coach? Stephanie Austin, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Rufus, good morning. Kimberly Fuller, good morning, sis. Good morning to you all. Come on in the building, like and share as you come in, comment, speak to me, let me know you out there. Nicole Richardson, good morning. I see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. DC Holmes 7, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Lisa, good morning, sister. Sister Tony, I got you. I'm just going by the handle, but I got you. I can call you by your preferred name. We'll never forget you, dear. We'll never forget you. Good morning, Monifa. Come on in the room. About a minute or so. Ebony, good morning to you. Ebony Taylor, good morning. Get done with our speaking and our fellowship. We'll get in. Go ahead and name this Wednesday. Go ahead and name this Wednesday as you come in. You know how we do. Am I in prison? Spartan, go somewhere, bro. Don't come to my live with that mess. Work the word Wednesday. I like that. Wait on the Lord Wednesday. I like that. 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 Miss Lucas, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Come on in the building. Thank God for YouTube, even the ignorant people that are on YouTube right now. We thank God for YouTube. For those of you who follow me there, thank you for sharing. Ignore those comments. Facebook, Instagram, we thank God for you. We certainly thank God for you. Come on in the building. Boy, I tell you, self-control is is being tested. We're talking about self-control this month, and it's been amazing how many times that I've had to, even during this teaching, had to minister it and be tried in it, and had to move through it. So thank God for grace. We thank God for the peace of God. We thank God for who He is, and we give God praise for Him. Okay, so we thank God. This is Morning Momentum. For those of you who are new to this platform, this is a daily platform. We talk about everyday issues. We talk about one topic for 21 days, and attempt to build habits as well as break bad habits. And so we give God praise. Trey, good morning. Joy, Miss Joy, good morning. Miss Angeline Cox, good morning to you. We thank God. Yeah, thank you. I did too. Thank you, Valerie. I reported it as well. But we're gonna move on. Some people are just who they are. And so guess what? When people be who they are, we got to be who we are. And so we're just gonna stay true to who we are and keep doing what we do. It's amazing how much hate is in the world for no reason. But anyway, we're gonna move forward. Actually, he's ministering to what I'm talking about today. Actually, with this last component of the 3 steps of self-control. And so let's get into it. Father, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for this time. And we give you praise. Give us the space. Give us the ability to receive what you have for us today. We thank you for it in advance. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So, of course, we're on day 10, guys. Day 10 of this time together. Reagan, good morning. Misty T, good morning. DeAndre Richardson, good morning. And so we're certainly giving God the praise. We're going to take our daily vitamins. So how do we do? Watching, willing, and waiting Wednesday. I like that, Tony. I like that. Anthea, no weapon formed against. Absolutely. Great morning, Tramika. And so we're moving forward. Proverbs 25 and 28 in the Message Bible says, a person without self-control is like a house with its doors and its windows knocked out. We've been talking about that in the Message Bible. A person without self-control is like a house with its doors and its windows knocked out. Proverbs 25 and 28 in the Amplified Bible says, like a city that is broken down and without walls, leaving it unprotected, is a man who has no self-control over his spirit and sets himself up for trouble. Good morning, Miss Gwen. Good morning, Shinwei. Sets himself up for trouble. And so I want to deal with that. Galatians 5 and 22. We all know that as being the fruit of the Spirit. It says, but the Spirit produces love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness, humility, and self-control. And there is no law against such things as these. And I say this every day because I think you need to get this in your spirit. The foundation of all the fruit of the Spirit, I believe, is self-control. It's mentioned last because I think it holds everything together. Because self-control allows us to continue in and posture ourselves always in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and humility. It is where we get this idea of being godly, right? And so self-control is what we've been talking about. It is the ability to manage your behavior, your emotions and impulses to align with your personal goals and values, essentially overriding immediate desires for long-term benefits. And so self-control is the ability to regulate and alter your responses, the ability to regulate and alter your responses in order to avoid undesirable behaviors and increase desirable ones, right? I need us to understand that. It is the ability to regulate and alter your responses in order to avoid undesirable behaviors and increase desirable ones. And so I want us to really understand that as we as we get into this, as we understand what's going on here. And we certainly give God praise for what he's been doing. Um, let's see, let's get this. What he's been doing for the last 10 days in helping us in this manner. Hopefully you guys have been blessed. Hopefully you guys are growing and learning from this and even challenging yourself. Regulate, I like that, Tara, regulating yourself in some areas. Self-control is the ability to put the brakes and think before you act. And sometimes those brakes got to come with a screeching halt because you'd already started to accelerate in an area. And then you have to realize and pull yourself back and be like, no, not going to do that. No, that's not going to be what happens today. No, that's not going to be how I handle this situation. Nope, that's not how I'm going to respond to that. And so we've been talking about for the last 3 days, the 3 types of self-control. And the first day we talked about, which was Friday, we talked about emotions. And then yesterday we talked about impulses. And today I want to talk about the 3rd type of self-control, which is called movements. And I know that may need some explaining and I'll do it, but it's movements. It is our physical aspect to operating in self-control. I want to talk about that 3rd one today, movements, because if we're going to walk in self-control in its totality, we have to understand we have to understand the importance of movements, physical movements, our movements within that concept. Watch this. I want to start to break that down today. And I hope y'all can ride with me today on this because I think this movement piece may be the silent killer. I think a lot of people don't put a lot of onus in that. And actually it took a lot of really prayer and time for me to find my footing on how I felt like was a great, simple, and effective way to embrace what I knew in my spirit that entails movement as it relates to self-control. Hopefully I can put it in a way that you guys can grab it today because it's so important. It is the silent foundation, I believe. I think even though, emotions are loud, everybody knows when you talk about self-control, it becomes emotional and controlling your emotions. That's loud. That's easy. Even impulses, everybody can relate to that. You understand that. And even though it was hard to hear yesterday, you had to nod your head and was like, yeah, Pastor. But movements are the things that normally get us in trouble because it's the thing we didn't see coming, the thing we don't pay a lot of attention to, and the thing we don't really exercise and develop tools for. Our movements sometimes get us in trouble when it comes to self-control. Hopefully I can explain that in a way that you can get it today. Our movement. Keisha, I love that time to elevate. Our move, yes, it is. Tony says reset, regroup before reaction. Absolutely. Deb Holmes, thanking God for this teaching. It has been and continues to be so helpful. Thank you, Ms. Deb. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Our movements. Can we get into that, family? Movement control is managing physical behavior. Movement control is managing physical behavior. It's a little different from emotions because emotions play out in the theater of our mind. Impulses is even a feeling or desire or inkling, but my movement is what I actually physically produce based on what I feel or don't feel. It is the management of physical control. It is physically managing me. It is the management, watch this, a physical location or a physical position or posturing. Stay with me here. Hopefully I can get this to you today. It is the regulation of physical body movements, such as being able to sit still or sit through something, being able to wait, whether it's waiting in line, waiting in a situation, waiting your turn to talk, waiting your turn to move, to shift. It is essentially in some areas managing restlessness. Good morning, Lady Long. Managing restlessness. And this thing hit home me even writing this and studying this. This type of control helps in avoiding impulsive physical actions, meaning you get an impulse, but then now and there's a physical action that comes behind it. Like, this may sound elementary, but we're going to mature it in a minute. So let me get it out, set a foundation, and we're going to mature it. But actions like fidgeting, actions like reacting physically to stress. Oh my God, yeah. Anger, acting physically to stress, acting physically to anger, to irritation, to confrontation, right? I want us to hear that. Deborah Bush, good morning. It is the ability to manage how and when our body moves. How many of you, can I just pause and say this, are able to sit still when you're irritated, agitated, when you're restless, when something was said you don't agree with, something done, you like, oh, that thing hit you in your gut. Samara, good morning. You're able to sit still through a conversation, sit still through a presentation, sit still through dialogue that making you uncomfortable. What is your body saying? What's going on? Auntie Vegabo, God bless you. What's going on there? Because this is our ability to manage how and when our body moves. This type of control is essential for tasks like sitting still, waiting in line. Like I said, oh, I like this, respecting others' personal space. How aggressive do you get when you get into something, or you get irritated about something? Are you in people's space? Do you get close and personal? Are you in their faces, fingers up? You know, what's going on there? I need us to hear this, because these skills are essential in navigating, watch this, social situations, learning environments, and personal development. These skills we're going to dive into today is important for understanding social situations, learning environments, and personal development. Some of us are not good socially because we're not good at movement control. And socially, we are weird, we are awkward, we don't know how to hide, or not really hide, but conceal what's going on the inside of us sometimes. You know, we don't know how to manage that. And then we're not good in learning environments because our attention span ain't good. We can't control ourselves to the point, and we miss critical information. We miss stuff through our movements, through our fidgeting, through our limited ability to be attentive, and then of course personal development. You know, do you tap out too easy? Are you able to have a dialogue back and forth where you say, just forget it and I'm gone? Just don't worry about it. So then you never get your thoughts out. You never express yourself, so people don't know how you feel. You never get a chance to know how other people feel because you can't go the distance in the conversation. Huh? Come on. Yeah. All right. And so in adulthood, so this movement element may sound like it's for kids, and it is classified, it's used a lot as it relates to the learning environments in children, getting children to take instructions, sit still, stay in line, all these things. But in adulthood, movement control has matured and is still necessary, and it's turned into a term called motor control. So in adulthood, we call that movement control. A more mature word is a motor control. In other words, motor in your car. I control my engine. I control how fast it revs. I control how fast it goes. I control when I put on the brakes. I control when I got to put it in reverse. I control when I got to keep that thing in neutral. Come on. I control that, man. I control it. It's motor control. and transitions from a foundational developmental skill in adolescence into a critical tool for maintaining, watch this word, professional poise and emotional stability. Professional poise and emotional stability. I need y'all to hear me today because this is the silent killer. We got to get this. Movement and self-control shows up in so many different forms. Oh, my Lord. It shows up in so many different forms. And all of these forms are necessary because of this. And this is the word that's going to help us navigate today. This is the weighty word. This is the, if I was preaching, I would say this is the stress word. This is the stress in the text if I was preaching. But today in our teaching, I believe the weighty word for movement control or motor control for us is the word poise. Somebody just type that. I need poise. Poise. Movement and self-control shows up in different many forms, and all of them is to create poise. And there's a lot of people who are smart, intelligent, loving, caring, have a lot to offer. Great when you get to know them. Great when they're in your corner. But they simply don't operate with enough poise. Yeah, man. Oh, my Lord. Poise. Poise is this. That word poise means graceful and elegant in your actions. It means graceful and elegant bearing in a person. It means balance. It means balance. It means equilibrium. Not too high, not too low, can stay calm and cool, can present something that may not be necessarily what is going on in me, but I'm still be able to present professionally, to get through a moment so I can be able to work some things out without losing it in the heat of the moment. Poise. It means composure. It means composure. It means dignity of manner. How poised are you when you're angry? How poised are you when you're offended? How poised. And like I said, the enemy just tried me right here before I could even get talking. They had to keep my poise because there was some ignorant comment being made. And I don't got time to block them. I ain't got time to do all this stuff because I'm still on my live. I'm not going to let them take it over. But I had to stay poised. Right? And I have these thoughts going through my head on this side. But then I have an assignment to do right here that I had to intentionally stay engaged in and not get off track. Lord have mercy. And the same way was you. You are whether you're in an educational setting, whether you're in a community setting, whether you are in a family setting, how poised can you be? How intentionally connected and locked in can you be when the circumstances are still distracting? That's poise. Having poise means maintaining a composed, self-assured, and graceful demeanor, particularly under pressure or in a challenging situation. Is that like intellectual posture? Yeah, spiritually. Intellectual posture, Tony, is more of a calmness in knowing the information, being able to be astute and to keep up in a conversation about a subject. So when I have an intellectual posture, that means that I'm able to articulate, to carry that conversation, to speak to a thing. So intellectual posture is different from emotional posture. Remember I talked about a couple of days, IQ and EQ. My intellectual posture is more my IQ. My emotional posture is more my EQ, my ability to stay composed in my feelings, my emotions, my actions while talking intellectually, if that makes sense. I think that's the difference. But having poise means to maintain a composed, self-assured, and graceful demeanor, particularly under pressure or in a challenging situation. It represents a balance, watch this, of confidence, dignity, and calm. Yeah, it represents a balance of confidence, dignity, and calm. Watch this, combining emotional control and elegance. Combining emotional control and and that word elegant, I don't want you to think feminine. That word elegant just means graceful, assured, purposeful in your physical bearing. A poised person remains composed and thinks before they act and handles stress with poise. And a lot of times a person can be amazing, great, but they just turn into another person when they lose their composure. Man, listen, being able to teach this or having the assignment to teach this has also given me the assignment to walk this. Even from last night, as early as not only last night, this morning, just being able to be in a moment and let me take a step back, just walk away from that. Let me just stop before I do something, say something that is not befitting of who I am in front of these people. That's poise. Being able to restrain your movement when you want to move aggressively based on how you feel, right? That's poise. And so the key aspects of having poise is this. It means calmness under pressure. I want to break those down a little bit before we move on. It is the ability to stay steady, right? It is the ability to stay steady. It is the ability to stay focused, because sometimes distractions only come to get you off of the main thing. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and you wanted to discuss something specific, but because emotions got so out of control, we start to talk about the emotion of the conversation than the details of the conversation? Started out talking about an issue that was bothering you or getting close to you, but then somebody says something like, well, why you look at me like that? Why you say it in that tone? Then you start talking about the tone for the next 30 minutes and you never talk about the problem. Because distractions come to get you off of focus. And if you struggle with becoming and continuing to be a focused person, then you're going to struggle with becoming a purposeful person, because people are going to pull you off of purpose into distractions. Man, Joy says, for me, staying calm when the state makes their announcement visit and the children are doing things they never do, but they have to stay calm. Absolutely. 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 That's that movement. That's that movement piece to self-control. It is staying focused. It is staying steady and unruffled when facing difficulties, stress, and high-stakes situations. I remember when I was in corporate America, I used to have to express this to my boss a lot, because my manager was one of the persons that wore every emotion on her sleeve. And so if she was stressed out, everybody on the team knew she was stressed out. And if it was a critical component that was going on in the office, she wanted everybody to be on high alert, everybody to be frantic, everybody to be moving, because she was just high strung. But I didn't operate good in those kind of environments. And so I used to have to always explain to her, don't let my demeanor fool you. even though I'm calm and don't look rattled, I understand the severity of the issue. And I have to tell her, calm, I want you to know it's got my full attention. I understand it. I'm just processing it in a calm way so that I can be effective and focused in what I'm doing. So don't let my demeanor think I don't understand the crucialness and the criticality of this moment. I do. I just process it differently. Right? You'll be so much more effective at what you do because you'll be so much more focused in what you do when you can allow yourself to stay poised. Even in your conversations and your dealings, sometimes when we boil, we just go at people instead of allowing ourselves a little bit of composure. And I'm still working on that myself, right? Self-assuredness is another key aspect of having poise. It is a deep, quiet confidence. You don't know the value of a quiet confidence. See, real confidence ain't loud. See, can I teach you something? Loudness is really fear. Loudness is really defense mechanism. Most people who are loud are really unsure of themselves, and they don't want you to get closer to their insecurities. And so they scare you with their volume. They scare you off with their aggression. But most confident people are quiet in their movements. Not to say they're quiet as far as are not vocal, but they don't have to be louder to be more effective. If somebody wants to talk over you, then they're trying to shut down the conversation because they don't have endurance in dialogue. And so instead of getting to the nuts and bolts of the issue, they want to be aggressive and overbearing so they can say what they want to say and move on and not have to deal or adjust to your rebuttal. But most people who are confident carries a quiet confidence. That if they do choose to not speak, it's not because they've lost. If they choose not to move on down a rabbit hole that they don't see is going anywhere, it doesn't mean that they have given up. Right? Yeah, Stephanie, that's true. Some people just can't have long conversations. Their insecurities won't let them. Because if you have a long conversation, when you diving in, a deep diving with people, it's going to come down to something you didn't do well or something you missed, something you might can do better. And if you don't have the self-awareness of yourself, it's hard to hear when you're not right. It is the confident person that actually can bond not only with their traits and then what they do well, but they can bond with what they need to work on and wear that just as well. And when they hear what they need to work on, they can receive it because they've already had that self-evaluation. And they can have a talk about it. But anyway, let's keep going. It is a self-assuredness. It is a deep, quiet confidence and self-control that comes from within rather than needing validation from others. When I have poise, there's a self-assuredness, a deep, quiet confidence of who I am and what I bring to the table that comes from within me. It didn't come from around me. I don't need validation to know what I know about me. And so that way, I'm not trying to prove that I'm something in a confrontation because I don't need outside approval. So self-assuredness is a key aspect. Another key aspect is graceful bearing. What does that mean? Graceful bearing is a refined way of holding and moving the body, showing poise. It involves physical calmness, free from unnecessary tension. You're talking about poise. And the last one I think is really key is controlled communication. Speaking clearly, thoughtfully, and respectfully. Oh man, that's so good. Just because you angry, irritated, confused, or just because the conversation need to be had doesn't mean it can't be respectful. And a really big component of being an effective communicator and building relationships is the element of respect. A lot of people think that your emotional state gives you the permission to be disrespectful. I am learning more and more as older I get, I don't deal well with disrespect. I'm learning to take back access from disrespectful people. You don't get to have access to me like you used to if you can't even give me a simple respect. Right? I'm big on, especially when people talk to my kids, I'm big on it when I have interactions with other adults. Just because you're in a place of position, authority, doesn't mean you got a license to be disrespectful. And here's the reality. Respect has to move with you even in difficult conversations. And even when receiving criticism. Yeah, you can correct me without being disrespectful. Yeah, you can have a difficult conversation without letting your anger lead before the issue. Your frustration is in your tone before the problem. That's what self-control is all about. It's not only about what I need to say to you, but I need to be prayerful and mindful about how we say it. I promise you, Tara, 90% of the issues with people will go away if we just learn simple respect for each other. Oh man. And it's amazing how many people, when they get irritated or get upset or get bothered, they're just so straight. They just so, go for the jugular. They just go right at people. And it's like, I don't care, whatever. That's just, you should have known better. Shouldn't have done better. Don't mess with me. Don't do this, And you just run over people. That's out of your movement control, right? Remember, movement control is also motor control. You was full throttle on the gas and running through every cone, every stoplight, every stop sign, every warning sign, every caution sign. You just put the gas to the floor and just ran through everything in your sight. Your movements are out of control. Right? Another component of poise is substance and style. What does that mean? Poise is considered a mix of inner strength, which is substance. My inner strength is my substance. Who you are on the inside is the substance of you. And your outer presentation, your style. It matters to mix both. That I'm presenting myself outwardly with class, and then I have enough inwardly to sustain me in my dealings with people. It is a mix between inner strength and outer presentation, substance and style. Somebody type that. I need both substance and style. Have you just said about somebody, I like their style. It's not just the clothes they put on. I like their style. I like how they move. I like how they interact with people. I like how they make people feel important. I like that, how they never meet a stranger. I like how they're just poised, they carry themselves. One thing Barack Obama had, I think some of y'all ladies love Michelle Obama. They don't just have substance about them. They had a presentation, a style. He floated in the room. He had She walked, she was a very accomplished woman, but she still had a presentation about her like she was a round the way girl, just a normal girl from the hood. There was a mix between this substance and style that created this poise that was infectious. Yeah, yeah. Some of us got a lot of substance, but our presentation is off. And some of us got a lot of presentation, but you ain't worked on your substance. Essentially, watch this. A person with poise remains unshaken and elegant, projecting an aura of composed confidence regardless of external circumstances. There's this composed confidence regardless of external circumstances. And this is going to show, why is this so important? Why is this the silent killer, I call it? Because it shows up in our executive world, shows up in our corporate settings, in our social settings, professional settings, friendships. Movement control is often, watch this, the silent half of impulse control. Have a good day, Scuba. Movement control is often the silent half of impulse control. If I'm gonna be good at impulse control, the back end of that is my movement control. Because if part of the other half of impulse control is not only in fighting what I feel from that impulse, but fighting what I do from that impulse. Whew. I hope y'all listen to me. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Come on, if I'm gonna be really fight my impulses, I can't just fight the feeling, the emotion of the impulse, the urge, but I gotta also fight the act. It is the silent half of impulse control. Watch this, in meetings, in high stress social environments and settings, interactions with people, it allows you to sit still, to avoid distractive fidgeting and movements, and use conscious body language to project confidence. Thank you, Narissa. I like yours too. It allows us to project the right body language. Some of us are projecting body language with our fidgetiness, our movement. Somebody say something, we're like, oh, here we go again. Oh, what we doing? Oh, Lord, here we go. Fidgeting. Oh, my God. Doing this. Pick up your phone. Somebody talking. You doing something else. What are we projecting? 3 things I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let this settle in you today. Number 1, you cannot underestimate the importance of sitting still and staying engaged. It ain't just for kids in the classroom. That's why they taught us that. Sit still. All that moving. We still need that as an adult. Being able to sit still through a presentation, through a conversation, through a one-on-one setting or group setting, through a learning environment. You too fidgety. You too distracted. You can't learn much because you miss stuff because you don't have that movement self-control. Watch this. It's important, man, because how you project in a group or in learning settings says a lot about you. You know, the reality is you can project loudly in a room without ever saying anything, without saying a word. You can project loudly without saying a word. Moving constantly, feeling through your bag, having to go in and out the room multiple times all the time. Looking at social media on your phone, checking messages, doing a presentation, doing a learning session, while having a conversation with somebody. Have you had a conversation with somebody and the whole time you talking, you're like, okay, yeah, I hear you. Okay. And they checking something. Oh, okay. No, I'm listening. Yeah. Well, How does that make you feel? How about this? You are always the one doing a presentation, not only either sitting in a secluded area. The team is up here, you in the back by yourself, or you outside in the lobby. Everybody coming in is like, why are you out here? Nah, I just needed some fresh air. I'm just chilling. I don't know. And you out there on your phone doing other things when you're supposed to be in the room. You can physically say I was present, but you weren't participating. You hanging out by your car. You out there. You're busy doing nothing. You just kind of no self-control to stay locked in and stay engaged and give people your undivided attention. Number two, it shows up in our body language. Because you want to know what? You know something? Some of y'all may have heard me say, teach this several years ago. And I think I taught this at a singles retreat. Body language is real communication. And can I say this? Body language is the majority of communication. Our movements communicate for us more than our words. Did you know, real fact, that words are only 7% of effective communication? You hear me? Words are only 7% of effective communication. And there are 7 forms of nonverbal communication that make up 93% of effective communicating. So what does that say? If you're a quiet person, you can still be a great communicator. And then it also says just because you loud don't mean you communicate well. Oh, Lord. Yo, words are only 7% of communication. You want 93% entails facial expressions. Oh, God. Self-control. Can't control your faces. Facial gestures, deliberate movements, like I just said. Movements at times that were deliberate based on what somebody just said. You didn't need to stretch until you heard that. Oh, that made you need to stretch. Okay. That's letting you know I'm over this. I'm about ready to go. Okay, they going, there they go again. They talking crazy. They doing right. A term called paralinguistics means tone, pitch, volume, inflection. Is your tone out of control? Is your volume out of control? I'm one, when I get passionate, my volume gets to be an issue. People around me know it better than people that don't experience me more, and I have to sometimes watch because my volume goes up when something is passionate with me. I mean, I'm angry or mad. But I've learned over the years that bottom volume can still be offensive even though it wasn't intentional. Yeah, Tony, folding arms, all those gestures, facial expressions. Bro, you are loud without saying a word. Body language, posture, proximity, personal space, right? When you lean in, that's usually when you're more interested. When you lean back and that means you over it. Eye gaze. Are you giving eye contact? Are you looking off in the side of the room when people are talking to you? You got your head down, looking at other things, doing this in the middle of a conversation. That's self-control. Those are the movements that sometimes get us in trouble because we don't even think to build skills to making sure that we are controlling the movement patterns that are speaking for us. That's why I say I call this the silent killer. Because you wonder why you're not really a favorable person to people and people don't really cling to you like that because you don't even know what you're giving off. One of the things that I try to fight when I hear that, one of the most, I ain't gonna say offensive, it's not offensive, But one of the things that bothers me the most, concerns me, or one thing that I'm very self-conscious about, when people tell me, well, I want to say something to you, but I ain't know how to approach you. Sometimes you look like you just so serious, and so I don't ever want to be unapproachable. I don't want to look unapproachable. But I got so much in my head going on all the time, and people catch me in right in the middle of something. I'm just in deep thought. My wife will come to me sometimes and just rub my forehead out here. Unwrinkle your forehead. What's your forehead wrinkled up? I don't even realize it's wrinkled up. And she'll just walk by me and do this. And I'm like, oh, I was wrinkled. I look serious. I didn't mean to do that. It's being aware of those things, because even though you may be a serious person and you can still be serious, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a serious person, I believe, at heart, but I still like to have fun. But my movements and my placements in such settings are intentional. I don't have a lot of time to waste, but I still want to be approachable. I'm gonna treat every interaction. When I stay at the bottom of my pulpit after every service, I don't care how long that line is. Not only do I want to stay and hug and greet and talk to everybody who wants to embrace me, but I want each interaction to feel like they're the only one in the room. I don't want to feel like I'm rushing past somebody because I got a line behind them. I want that about me. So sometimes I miss the mark in that. And so I try to be very mindful of what I'm giving off. I don't ever want to come across as being unapproachable. That's just me. I don't mind talking about me. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. So what are those body languages issues, things that get you in trouble? Your appearance. How do you appear? How do you come across? Because we talk. Don't you know you talk in certain settings, not being appropriately dressed speaks? And it can encompass just minimal stuff and, outfits that's kind of too revealing, but I'm not just talking about that either. I'm just talking about not dressed for the occasion. I always say this, and I teach it to my sons, especially to a first impression, you should always want to be overdressed and underdressed. I think one of the greatest attributes you can have is that you can able to go to a cookout and fit in. You can go to a boardroom and fit in. You can go to a black tie event and act like you've been in one before. You know how to move in different events, and your body language and your communication is nonverbal, and your outfit is a nonverbal communicator. Y'all hearing me? Understanding the assignment, understanding what those things cause. So that means this. What do I say all that about body language for? I say that to say this. You can remain quiet and still lose self-control. I ain't even say nothing. I don't know why I'm mad. For the one time I kept my mouth shut and I ain't say nothing, and you still mad because you still talking with your body. And you talking louder with your body than you did with your words. That self-control goes beyond what comes out of your mouth. That you can be quiet about a thing. I choose not to say nothing. I ain't saying nothing this time. That don't mean you stop talking because you stop speaking. You can still need to work on self-control while remaining quiet. And here's the last one. That this is going to be controversial, and I know it before I say it, but I still got to be said. We got to know when to say when. We got to know when to say when. What does that mean? This is related to intense conversations, interactions, dialogues. You got to know you more than anybody in the room. You got to know you. And you got to be real about you. And you got to protect not only you, but others by understanding you. Know when to back off before you go too far. Know yourself enough to feel yourself and say, I think we just need to, I'm okay. Yeah, we good. Watch this. And I don't want you to confuse this with flight. This is not running from stuff and flight. And don't confuse this with flight. I want you to think about this more of a timeout. We got to use our timeouts. When I play sports, one of the things that my coaches say all the time, you can't take your timeouts with you. You might as well use them. Timeouts, watch this. In sporting events, I need you to hit a revelation in this. I'm going to let you go. In sporting events, every team is granted a certain number of timeouts per game, per half. It's non-negotiable. And guess what? It doesn't matter if the other team want to take one. It doesn't matter if the other team likes it when the team who has timeouts left take one. It is their right to take a timeout and to regroup. But the difference in the timeout and flight is when I've run from something, I'm over it. I'm avoiding it. I'm not dealing with it. When I take a timeout, even though I have to stop and pause the play to regroup, to talk, to rest, to refocus, I still am obligated to come back to the action. That's the difference between the timeout and flight. I'm not running from it to avoid it, but I'm stepping back to reframe. Because some actions, some words you say you'll never be able to get back. And I don't care, the other team may be on the run, the other team may be in their niche, they might be found their groove, but if I got a timeout left and I want to take it, then I got to take one and you got to grant it to me. And if we use that same concept with relationships, interactions, we'd be so much better off. Just take it. I'm not going to, you know how many times, I'm telling you, this thing, the last 3-4 days that I've had to, in the middle of responding, even text messages, get ready to send it and then delete it. Because I knew when to step back. Instead of going back and forth with people, instead of keeping heated debates going. You ever been in a room, whether it's at an event or at a family function or something, and y'all going back and forth, and it's getting heated, and or some, things are going on, and you just dap up whoever is the host and say, "Hey man, thank you for inviting me. It was great. Me and the lady, we're gonna get out of here. We're just gonna roll." Yeah. For that night, it was just enough. Y'all got it. We're just gonna get out of this environment and give everybody a chance to cool off. That's strategic. Sheldon McGovern Apostle says, timeouts are not just about rest or retreat, but they can be very strategic. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Take that same for the team, same thing with you. Sometimes it's just to pause and say, I'm gonna figure out how to come back at you, because what I had in my heart didn't get out the first time, right? And so it's like you said, it's strategic. You come back and regroup and pray about, how do I approach this from another angle so they can hear what's in my heart before it gets offensive, right? It is a strategic tool that you use to keep yourself under control, but still effective. There are some things that need to be hashed out. There are some conversations that just need to be had, but it still can be done in a respectful way. And sometimes when our emotions and our attitudes get involved, we need to not only take timeouts, watch this, but we need to learn to grant them. Remember I talked about emotional intelligence, not being just about emotional intelligence about you, but it's understanding emotional intelligence about people and being able to sense in the room where things are getting heated and they getting angry. Sometimes I take a timeout, not just for me, but for you. And sometimes I request them, hey, why don't we just revisit this later? I think both of us are getting to a place. I see you getting angry. That was not my intention. So I think we need to have this conversation with cooler heads. Let's just decide to talk next week. Let's decide to talk about this tomorrow. Right? That's a timeout. Yeah. Don't match energy. Not back and forth. Yeah, man. Right? Right? Because what happens is, you know, first of all, sending texts and stuff, texts don't have emotion. And so those things get escalated. And then when you talk, what you text ain't even what you really meant. It didn't sound, you know, sometimes phone calls, sometimes in person. I just had to do that. Like I said, I had to do that just yesterday. I was on my way to engage in something. And I said, nope, let me turn around. Not now. Not the way I feel. Not as emotional as I see them and how they feel. This ain't gonna be a good interaction right now because both of us are on level 10 and emotional. And either one of us might do something we're gonna regret. Somebody I have respect for. That's self-control. It's movements. Sometimes you gotta remove yourself. That doesn't mean you are permanently removed. It means you made a time, took a time out. All right? I'm gonna stop here. We're right at a minute, hour. Hopefully you receive something today. We're talking about this element. I've been hearing this in the kingdom, this self-control. I've been hearing it in different forms, in different expressions. I believe this is a kingdom agenda. I think this is a kingdom principle. I think this is a download that heaven has sent into the atmosphere, and his sons and daughters are hearing and teaching elements of self-control. I'm telling you, I believe this is a season to not allow our anointing, our gifting, our purpose, our intentions, our pure heart to be misrepresented and to lose its witness and effectiveness because the vessel could not carry it properly. I think this is such a timely word for those of you who will grab it in the spirit. God will begin to do things for you and doors are open for you simply because you have created this poise about you. I'm telling you, that word is so heavy in my spirit. It's time for you to walk with a kingdom poise. This intentional togetherness that didn't come from man, didn't come from circumstance, didn't come from outcomes. It came from God. He has settled you. He has given you confidence. He's given you peace, right? And you're just walking with this poise that says, I'm not only carrying something, but I'm going somewhere. Whew. Somebody need to say that with me. I'm not only carrying something, but I'm taking it somewhere. I'm going somewhere. And it's important for me to do it with poise. All right? That's your word for today. And let's get out of here. The fact that you're watching me, the fact that you're listening to me is a sign that God is not finished with you. He gave you a new day. And with that new day, he gave you a new mercy. They're new every morning. Do me a favor. Take what he's given you and win what's in front of you. Winners win, and that's who you are. So go be who you are and do what you do. And we'll see you in the morning. Peace.